There's no possible way that we're going to have the same year this year with the same patterns and the same bozos and the same lack of boundaries. It's just not happening. Now, I'm not trying to sell you a tale that everything's going to be great and you'll never experience hardship and your patterns won't come back and your parts of self won't get behind the wheel. They will. But my favorite thing about consciousness, it doesn't let you go back to sleep. It eventually taps you on the shoulder and wakes you back up. And remember, once you wake up, it's a lot harder to go back to sleep. This podcast, every single episode, is intended to wake something up in you. And whether or not you've put that totally into action or not, we have shined the light of consciousness in the dark places in your life. Welcome to Grow with Robin Breckenridge, a podcast about stepping into the most fully expressed, aligned, and conscious version of yourself. Here, we dive into the real work of personal growth, establishing boundaries, understanding your patterns, building self-trust, healing emotional wounds, and creating relationships that feel safe, authentic, and fulfilling. I'm Robin, a life and relationship coach, and in each episode, we'll explore the tools, insights, and conversations that will help you not just improve your life and relationships, but truly transform them. You don't have to just go through it. Let's grow through it, and let's do it together. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Grow with Robin Breckenridge. As I mentioned last week in the episode, I'm leaving for Hawaii tomorrow morning, and I'm so excited. But what this means is that you made it through the holidays. And I'm so proud of you because it's not easy to go back around our original wounders, our family of origin dynamics. It's not easy to go through the holidays when you're becoming a healthier version of you. So congratulations, you did it and you lived. And now we get to talk about the start of a new year. So as we step into a new year, I want to offer a different way of approaching what comes next. We're not here to do resolutions. We're not here to bring pressure to whatever it is that we're creating. We're not fixing you. We're not trying to change you. And what actually creates change isn't force. It's empowerment. So I tell all of my clients this. I learned this hack a while ago because we've all heard about manifesting, and sometimes we're like, we can get a little nervous or bring anxious energy when we're manifesting. Well, that's not what we're here to do. There are two things required for you to manifest: alignment and authenticity. I want you to think of how many times you have heard the words alignment and authenticity in this podcast. It's literally what we're here to do. So alignment is when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are telling the same story. Authenticity is when you stop abandoning yourself to be accepted, approved of, or quote unquote safe. And this is why this year ahead will be different. Not because you're trying harder, not because you found that one thing that's going to change everything, but because you are different. Your awareness is different. Your boundaries are different. The way you take care of yourself is different. And the way you listen to your nervous system is different. And when those things change, you start to grow more alignment and authenticity. So your role isn't to control outcomes. I know that ultimately, from the ego-based part of us, that's what we all want to do. I don't think it's possible. What is possible? For you to stay aligned. That's your role. When you do that, the universe meets you there and always acts in the service of your highest good. So before we even talk about dreaming, let's recognize what's already shifted. So take a breath and reflect on these. No rush, no pressure to answer perfectly. And like in last week's episode, these are kind of about taking inventory. So you might want to pause these. You might want to grab a journal. You might want to just listen one time through and think about it and go back to your journal. Listen, it is up to you. But these are things I want you to contemplate. How am I different now than I was a year ago? What do I understand about myself now that I didn't before? Where do I trust myself more, even if fear still shows up sometimes? Remember, this is about awareness. And awareness changes the lens that you are looking at life through, which means the future can't look the same. So this year does not need to be pushed or forced into place. It needs to be lived honestly, and it requires you to show up. So instead of asking what you should do, consider what feels aligned for me to say yes to this year. Remember those authentic yeses we've talked about? What in my life needs to move more slowly, intentionally, and truthfully? Where am I no longer willing to abandon myself, even if it costs me approval? Remember, if something requires force, it's driven by fear. If it requires self-betrayal, it isn't aligned. Alignment doesn't mean life doesn't get hard. It means you don't leave yourself when life gets hard. The way you treat yourself while you're moving towards something shapes what you attract. I truly believe that vibration is everything. So one of the most impactful things to our own vibration or our own energy is the way we treat ourselves. So I want you to reflect on these questions. When things feel uncertain or uncomfortable, how do I want to treat myself this year? What helps me feel emotionally safe enough to keep showing up? What kind of support am I willing to receive from myself or others? Remember, you don't have to do everything alone. Remember that phrase, next kindest choice to self? Let's let that phrase be one of our flotation devices this year. Now let's talk about intention. To me, again, from a vibrational perspective, there's a very big difference between controlling things and being intentional. I feel like control is sourced from fear. Intention is sourced from love and trust. So intention is not pressure. It's orientation. You don't have to have a full plan for this year, but you do need some intention of the direction you're looking to go in. Here's a great question to consider. How do I want to feel in my body and nervous system this year? What quality do I want to bring into my life this year? Maybe it's ease, honesty, courage, softness, trust. And here's a great question to consider. If I lived from alignment and authenticity, what might naturally change in my life? Now let's talk about co-creation. I have been working with people for 10 years. I have had this amazing opportunity to watch people's intentions become a reality in their life because they surrendered to co-create with the universe instead of trying to control the outcome of their life. So here's your job in co-creation. Let's keep getting to know yourself more deeply. Let's continue to connect with your trust. Let's continue to try as best as we can, because this is no small feat, to be present to the moment we're in instead of looking backwards in something that's already over in our past, or time traveling to the future in which we prepare ourselves for scary scenarios we don't know are going to happen. And another really important job you have this year is aligned action. You guys, we have a whole podcast. I think we have like 38 episodes, maybe even 39. I'm not sure, that we can listen to over and over again. And also, I'm not done. I have more to share. Aligned action, we can do it. Let's remember though, some things we're not in control of. Timing, not in control of it. People, their behavior, thoughts, feelings, powerless. Outcomes, powerless. Now, I'm not saying we can't show up and contribute to the outcome that we're looking for, but we can't control the outcome. So remember, co-creation does not require hustle or control. It simply requires showing up, and showing up in alignment and authenticity, and then willingness. So I'm not even going to give you questions to contemplate for this part. I want you to choose one mantra to carry with you this year, or let one choose you. Here are some mantras that help us lean into trusting the universe, because that's what co-creation is. It means that when we are powerless, we are able to surrender over that which we can't control to that which has all of the control and power. So here are some mantras. What is for me cannot miss me. Let go or be dragged. I don't have to chase what's meant for me. This or something better. Now, this happens a lot when sometimes people will meet someone in dating they really like, or they'll have a job opportunity that they really like, and they're like, I just want to get this. This one is it. Well, remember that when something leaves our life or doesn't enter our life, we're being spared. So we want to consider that there is something that has way more knowledge and information and knows what's in our highest good. So if there's something that comes into your life that you really like, a great mantra is this or something better. Because maybe the universe knows there is something better for you out there. I show up aligned. The universe meets me. If it requires me to abandon myself, it's not for me. And when great things are happening in your life, an amazing mantra, more please. Expansion doesn't have to be overwhelming. Forces fear. Alignment feels steady. Rejection is redirection. Everything is happening for my highest good, even if I don't understand it. So let's get to my favorite part of this podcast, and something I've been doing for years. Instead of resolutions, I want to invite all of you to choose a word for this upcoming year. Not a word that you have to live up to, because remember, pressure and peace can't really happen at the same time. So this is not a word we're trying to live up to. It's a word that's there to guide you. It's that positive vibrational energy of intention. So this is a word you can return to when things feel busy, confusing, or overwhelming. So I want you to ask yourself, what word do I want to let lead me this year? So let's not pick the word that sounds impressive. Let's pick the word that feels supportive and aligned and authentic. So here are some examples. You're welcome to use any words you'd like. Notice which one carries a little lift, relief, or energy in your body. And I am going to pair it with a mantra. Feel free to take it if it feels aligned. First word, abundance. Mantra, There is more available to me than I've allowed myself to see. Joy. Joy is safe for me to experience now. Listen, guys, we've talked about inner children. Sometimes we feel like adulthood just gets serious and boring. Let me tell you, your inner child is full of fun, creativity, energy. We want to tap into that part of us. I personally feel that if you prioritize joy, your life is going to get so much better. Action. Clarity comes from alignment, not perfection. Momentum. Small, steady steps create powerful change. Ease. I release urgency and let life meet me. One of my personal favorites. Trust. Mantra. It's okay to trust me now. Alignment. If it requires me to abandon myself, it's not for me. Freedom. I release what weighs me down and I am open to joy. Presence. My power lives in this moment. Receiving. I allow support without guilt. Feel free to pick any of the words that I just mentioned or put one of your own. But I highly encourage you to create a mantra that goes with the word. And so many of my clients know that I tell so many of them to throw it on a Post-it note. I'm sure there are clients out there with bathroom mirrors filled with Post-it notes and walls, but I'm a fan of putting it up and looking at it often. So throw that word on a Post-it note on your bathroom mirror, throw that mantra up there. And we are starting 2026 intentional. So you don't have to make this year happen. You don't have to control the outcome of how things go. What we do want to be is going with the current of the universe, not against it. So this year, we're going to meet ourselves more honestly. We're going to show up more aligned. And we are going to stay more connected with ourselves. I'm so excited to see how life responds, what the universe shows up to co-create with you. I mean, I'm a perfect example. I never thought I would even work with adults in my life, let alone ever be a life and relationship coach. That happened because I got in the flow of what the universe had in store for my life. I say a prayer often, but that prayer is thank you, God, for not giving me what I thought I wanted. Because along the way to where I am right now, there were a lot of things that I held on to and fought for that I now know from my vantage point of consciousness were not in my highest good. And I am so glad that I trusted the universe enough to keep leaning into what was in my highest good. I think I've shared on here before, but it's a little bit blurry because I talk to a lot of people a lot. I went to a psychic a long time ago, and she basically told me that I'd be doing this for a living and that people would listen to me and they would come to see me speak. And at that time, I was a teacher and I was finishing my master's in special education. And she told me I was going to write a book, which hasn't happened yet, but you never know. And I remember leaving that interaction with her going, that was the worst psychic I've ever been to in my entire life. I don't even remember her name because I would love to call her and just be like, hey, I went to you a long time ago and probably acted like I had no idea about what anything you were talking about. And some of it came true. I tell you that not to endorse psychics or whatever. That's totally up to you. I tell you that because where I am right now I never saw coming. Even this podcast, never saw it coming. I did not think this was something that would be in my wheelhouse. And I know that's surprising to people because I hop into these things and, find my way, but they're definitely not always natural to me in the beginning. Every single year for the last 10 years, I have had a routine where I look back on the previous year to pull as much learning and wisdom as I can instead of judging myself or stewing in what didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And then on the first of the year, I always sit down with a journal and I ask myself reflective questions. I create a word for the year and a mantra. And I think about that word and that mantra throughout the year. So not only will I be giving you guys this advice today, I'm going to take it myself because I continue to do that tradition because I will never stop learning in this life. And I think that every single thing that comes across my awareness on this path is meant to help me know myself more deeply, love myself better, and co-create with the wisest, most intelligent thing there is. That's really exciting to me. So keep in mind, there's no possible way that we're going to have the same year this year with the same patterns and the same bozos and the same lack of boundaries. It's just not happening. Now, I'm not trying to sell you a tale that everything's going to be great and you'll never experience hardship and your patterns won't come back and your parts of self won't get behind the wheel. They will. But my favorite thing about consciousness, it doesn't let you go back to sleep. It eventually taps you on the shoulder and wakes you back up. And remember, once you wake up, it's a lot harder to go back to sleep. This podcast, every single episode, is intended to wake something up in you. And whether or not you've put that totally into action or not, we have shined the light of consciousness in the dark places in your life. 2026 is not going to be the same because you are different now. And because you are different, this year will be too. So I'm off to Hawaii. When I get back, we have a new year full of new content. I have some amazing guests lined up. I'm not even going to say who it is because some of them are just really fun and have so much to share. I'm going to bring some people on that I've never worked with that I'm interested in learning from. I'm going to continue to bring people who have done this work to help inspire you on your journey. We're just getting started, guys. So again, I'm so grateful to walk this path with you. Let's get intentional. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully with a little bit of a tan, just a little bit. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here and for doing this work. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Come connect with me over on TikTok at Robin Breckenridge or Instagram at Coach with Robin, where I share even more insights, tools, and conversations around boundaries, self-trust, relational healing, and so much more. And just a quick reminder, this podcast is for educational and personal growth purposes only. The insights and tools I share are based on my experience as a life and relationship coach and are meant for general guidance. Each person's story is unique, and the nuances of individual experiences can't always be addressed in this format. What's shared here may not be applicable to every situation, especially those involving abuse, oppression, severe mental illness, or systematic harm. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or emergency resources. Thank you for listening and for showing up for yourself in this way. Take care, and I'll see you next time.